Oh boy, I have no idea if I'm ready for this yet. But hello, and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. Captain Commerce is in chat. He's saying, I was telling my chat the other day that I call you that, and some people didn't even realize there was an extra number one in my handle. It's not my handle, that's my real name. I kid. Oh man. So it's been a um, busy. I'm still going to call it busy, but it's not like the super stressful kind of busy that usually comes with the release that's happening. Um, but we do have a release. We're trying to be on. We're trying to lock our code, and our QA person has not been able to test as thoroughly as they were wanting to, so they have some new bugs that they just reported to us from their tests. And I was working with another one of my teammates to address one of them that's kind of UI related. And yeah, we just kind of knocked that out in the past 10 minutes or so. So I'm here now, though, where, where we have fun with doing Blazor development. And yeah, hello, hi, welcome. I'm making things flash on my screen. I am checking for open documents on my main display that I don't want open because there have been some um, internal efforts being done. I'm trying to word this carefully. I don't like wording things carefully. I just like being open and transparent, you know? There have been some internal situations, some opportunities and efforts that are happening lately that I'll be able to tell you guys about eventually, but not yet. And my brother was also using me as a witness for some of his paperwork. So I was signing documents this morning. I was helping out coworkers. I was doing some of my own UI improvements to include stuff like narrator, um, navigability. I think that's the word. Navigability. The ability for someone that uses narrator to navigate the application using all of the narrator functionality stuff. Okay. But anyway, were you able to get your computer situation things worked out, Captain? Captain? Cap, cap, capybara. I'm gonna get started on my water. It's snowing. You can't be out there with just a t-shirt. I can. I'm Batman. I mean, I'm a polar bear. You literally just had a B-side. Oh my gosh. Have you narrowed it down to whether it's your video card or if it's something else? You can, but you shouldn't. And great stream, Thindle. Great stream yesterday. I was there for most of it. I was listening in for most of it, and then I had to go on no ears because oh, meetings after meetings. Spent last night updating all the drivers, so I'm a little saddened. And you've run check disk too because you said it's the original hard drive as well. And Pino was saying it was good. I'm really surprised that the thing worked. I'm not surprised, it's you. I didn't compile it for 2 hours and then bam, works. You really are talented and skilled. You should trust in yourself a little more. Don't, well, I guess you're allowed to be surprised because it's really nice to be surprised. I like being surprised, even though it's kind of expected at the same time that whatever thing I'm struggling with will eventually work and it'll work well and the right way, but it's still surprising when it does. No, that really sucks. I'm sorry. I am, I really, really do feel for you in that. I have as I mentioned, a few situations going on that are just, they're causing lots of stress, but at the same time excitement, but at the same time stress. Did I mention stress? But yes, check disk, scan disk, and nothing came back from command line. I'll try to check it later tonight. Gosh, I wish I could recommend some tools to you because I used to use a ton of tools when I was helping friends and neighbors with their computer problems, but that would have been third wall 20 plus years ago. A 1 year contract got cut, 1 plus year contract got cut down to 9, semi expected, and I think I might be coming out feeling better mentally after it. Interesting. Yeah, right now it's a bit hard. So, how do you build up new clients in situations like this? Like when you know you're going to need another client and or source of income. That concerns me when it comes to thinking about the prospect of going into business for myself. Hello, good VJ. Word of mouth 95%, which kind of sucks when I've been doing a bad job there. No, you have not been doing a bad job. Is this still the conversion project or is that a different contract? A different one. Conversion project is my project. Gotcha. I'm going to go to this screen while we keep talking, but please, please keep talking. If you so feel like it, there is no requirement to, but I am glad to have conversation. Con usted. We need a new door knocker, though. Or I guess since I didn't change the tree or the door, we could just have a new door instead. New door, who dis? I'm just gonna pick this one because it's easy. There we go. Please come in. You are welcome. It's a pretty massive application that's working poorly, and it's made of 160-ish projects. Oh man. 5, 7. I think the mm, the most number of projects that I've had to help maintain. So I'm only helping with maintaining these because it's my current work project is 50, 58, maybe 60, and then another 10. So maybe 70 or 80 total projects. And then when I was working at the RMA, it was about 7 projects per application, plus the databases, which is still going to be well under 50, 60. So I've never had to maintain that large of a set of projects. 180 is a lot. 160. And they don't quite mesh properly. Application is slow AF and very complicated. it doesn't really work. Oh man. Yeah, I still, again, I wish I could give you some to Captain, some tools that might still work for finding out where these crashes are. Your event log isn't giving you anything. I know all of these questions were asked in Discord. I just don't remember what order. But your event log isn't giving you any indication on what might be causing your blue screens, as well as the error code that it gives you on the blue screen itself. Is it giving you a driver error? Is it giving you a memory error? Like reseat your processor, reseat your RAM kind of stuff. The event log pretty much points to the Windows memory dump, which I'll need another application to run, right? Like 3 different messages. WinDebug, not going to help very much. Ah, yuck. That so sucks. Are all of your power cables connected to the right places? I recently had to, kind of like Thindle, I recently had to replace my power supply in one of my computers because it just suddenly, there was a click noise and then the power went out. Or I don't know if there was a click noise. We woke up one morning and the computer wasn't turning on. And we tried all the things. It seemed like it was the power supply. So we got a new power supply. And in doing so, I had to disconnect all of the existing connections from power supply to the motherboard and video cards and reconnect them myself. And it's like one of those modular power supplies now where it doesn't come with cables just sticking out of it that are of specific types. It has a little panel in the back. Like, I mean, a lot of them still do, even if they have an umbilical cord coming out of it. But this one is fully modular. Like, I don't know, 30, 20 connectors in the back of it. And so just making sure you have the right power going to the right places on your motherboard. Um, Overheating is another one. So maybe your thermal paste didn't apply correctly to your processor. I would recommend using a tool like OCCT, which is really hard to find, by the way, and just running the thermals on it to see how hot your computer is running, both the video card and the processor, the CPU. Man, these things are just like coming up because I completely forgot about all of this stuff until just now. Um, I don't really get the point of fully modular. You always need the 24 pin, the CPU one. Yeah, yeah. But it's kind of nice because you can still what's the word? Seat the power supply and then connect the 24 pin. You don't need at least one PCIe. And hello Goku Jax again, if I didn't say it. Hello Goku Jax. Um, if you have an M2 or any other solid state drive that's just a little card. Yeah, so OCCT, like you definitely don't have to use it for overclocking. Um, but it's like this chart here is the only thing that I use it for. I look at the current temperature, what the maximum temperature is, and what the average temperature was. And then you can do the actual tests, stability test, I think, so that you tell it to run as hot as it can. And then if it crashes because of that, then you know then you have a better idea that it could just be it's accumulating too much heat. Maybe you somehow reverse the fans, although I don't think you would have taken the fans off of the case when you were switching out the motherboard. Still possible. Um, yeah, but just making sure that you have good airflow through your case, in from the ground, out through the top, in through the front, out through the back, kind of stuff. Cool. So yeah, definitely let us know. I think that might be the exhausted list of things to try from me. Thank you so much for the let me get to my stream manager. Follow nightlight. What kind of nightlight are you? Do you work on doors? Like I keep using the wrong hand to point, like that one up there. Okay, okay, okay. So for those of you that are new here, now that we've gotten through the introductions and hellos, but that's not to say don't stop. It's not to try to stop you from talking. Please continue feeling free to converse. I will converse back with you. Scott is here, and Nightlight says hello. I love your name. Love it, love it, love it. I love lights in general. It's kind of funny because I prefer doing things in the dark, but if it's like neon lights or little ornaments and stuff that have lights on them, and Dukasoft is here. But yeah, for those of you that are new here, we are a .NET development community stream, although we have people from all over. We got JavaScript people, we got systems admins, we got architects, we got UI designers, just lots of really cool people, just people interested in technology in general. But I do .NET Blazor web development, full stack development, I should say, because it's more than just web development now. It's also cross-platform. And the project that we're working on the stream is a financial management tracking application. And I'm doing it because I use Microsoft Access currently to do all of my financial tracking. Well, not all of it anymore, but to do my personal financial tracking stuff. And I'm like, I'm a web developer. I've been doing web development for so long. Why am I still using Access to track this? I'm using SQL Server to store my data, so it's really easy to just, make a web application that will manage the same database without needing to break anything. So, and Simple's here. Hello, Simple. Oh, man. Did you finish? Like, the last thing that I saw you doing, because I ran after that, was putting together the promo videos. But yeah, guys, definitely check out Artificial on Steam. Artificial, we got a shout out for Simple. If you aren't already following him, he is a fantastic, amazing, cool game developer. There will be a heart icon somewhere up there. That way. Um, and he has a demo out for Artificial. I assure you, you will enjoy it if you're into games like Portal or Half-Life. But it's not like, a shooter game or anything like that. It's definitely more puzzle-like, more Portal-like, where you're given obstacles, but it's also story-driven. So I think it's going to be really enjoyable when he is completely complete with it, completely completed. I am looking forward to playing it. when it comes out officially. I've played the demo. He also has box hunts where you can find boxes in the demo. So join his community, check him out. Just so much fun. So much the good times. And he uses stream avatars, which is also fun. He makes us fight each other. And he finished the video for the Portal Easter egg. Just posted it. And hello, Itachi. Uchiha Itachi desu. Oh, automated ROMs is just my bot. That was Simple Game Dev. Simple Game Dev is the one that has been doing games. He has more than just artificial. He also has 2 others that I'm aware of, but there's probably more. So if you feel like answering the questions, simple, then please do. Let us know about all of your projects, including Flood, for example. I think it was called Flood City. I saw it for the first time on your last stream, on 2 streams ago, I guess. No worries, Nightlight. No worries at all. Okay, so let me show you the progress of the application that we've been working on so far. The GitHub page was posted above. Dukasoft posted the project. Thank you so much. Dukasoft is the best non-bot bot ever. See, Finance Man, Wasm, done and watch. We were in the middle of getting our edit functionality to work. But yeah, Simple is saying he's been working on it a little bit over 4 years, a lot of trial and error. .NET Stare, man, .NET Rebuild. That's a Captain Commerce emote if you couldn't tell. Oh, I love that thing. I love all his emotes. One day I'll be cool and have emotes. I mean, I got the ones that Bob Ross made for us, but they're not as cool as the Captains. Or Simples. Oh, man. Do, 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 do. Or Big Gamies. Or anyone else's in our community of streamers. Including Thindle's. Thindle has Zelda, who is his cat. Somewhere. There he is. She? There she is. Max is here too. Hello, Max. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so we were working on this edit button for these entered transactions, and we got it to show up in a modal, in a dialogue, in a dialogue modal, and it's showing the actual transaction, including the line items, but it's not formatted to fit in here. There's no way to scroll so that you can see everything in here. So we're going to go ahead and make it usable. We're not going to make it the most pretty thing yet, but we will. We can't even exit out of it at the moment. Max says, I have bad news. I haven't programmed for a while now. That's okay. I don't think that that's bad news. It's news, definitely. Is there a reason that you haven't been doing development stuff? Busy with school? Busy with other interests? Taking up chess and becoming a chess master so you can kick my butt every time? You have holidays, but you've been busy with CSGO. So other hobbies. Nightlight is asking Simple, I've always been fascinated by indie games. Do you do it full time? And how far till you finish, or no timeline? That's the cool thing about him being self-published. He really can just do it when he feels like it's ready. But at the same time, when he feels like he needs to get it out. Sometimes you just need to stop tweaking and just get it out there. Okay, we're gonna figure out why this thing didn't automatically stretch itself out. Why it's using the flex column for everything. Yep, banned indie game is tougher than 9 to 5, or being indie game developer is tougher than a 9 to 5 job. Yeah, because it's like 24 hours. But if you have fun doing it, then that is also, it doesn't always feel like work. Like I'm sure that there are things that do feel like work, like the parts of it that you don't want to do. I'm assuming based off of what I've heard over the few streamers that I listen to, like Clayman or Code Red or Red Cabin or Irish John, Simple Game Dev, all of these guys, they often will remark on UI being a slog, just something they don't want to do. And it's still the same with like application development for me. I don't like doing UI design. I can implement it really well, but coming up with the design myself. Do I pass the transaction object to the modal or re-get it using API when launching the modal? I use the one that is in memory. So yes, I pass the object itself for that row. Typically, you would see what Goku is saying, which is when this modal comes up and we get to the edit transaction component, the component will do the work of fetching the record from the API so that we have the most up-to-date record. But because I'm not worried about concurrency or consistency, because the intent of the app is to be run in only one tab, essentially, at the moment, we aren't too worried about the word that means things are synchronized. I'm not worried about the data being out of sync. However, what we can do in the future, actually, you know what? It's still pretty good practice now that Goku Jax is making me think about that. Dang it, Goku. We really should be getting the record from the database when the modal pops up. Man. And then the drop-down list is from one place. So the drop-down list values don't change often. The most that you're going to do is add a payee, but you'll probably be in maintenance mode when you're doing that. So you'll add a whole bunch of people that you would send money to or new accounts that you are trying to add. And then that list will be maintained for you. So since these items are specific to your user, so if we have a login thing, then these items will be specific to that login and not like a global thing where multiple people are modifying the same lookup lists. We don't have to worry about that getting out of sync. And so anything that is done for these lists will show up. But we can also handle synchronizing across browsers and across computers even, I guess, sessions, essentially, by using Signal R or some other kind of active connection that says whenever one of these is updated, then push that information to the state that holds all of our lookup information and then update those lists and then refresh the dropdowns with those new values. But we aren't anticipating having very many new line item types. Very many new, well, I guess this would be the thing that gets added most often. You buy something from a new place and then you log it. Like I'm gonna buy a lot of stuff from Dukabot in the future. It's going to be great. But yeah, so I want to know how we can make it so that this thing will fit. So I'm using, by the way, I'm using the same form, the same component that I'm using for enter new records in my edit record. Okay, modal content is a container, and that's it. Position relative. Then I have card, which is a grid, an inline grid. So there isn't anything special about card that is restricting its width. Modal wrapper just says place item center. That's what's making it squish to as small as it can to fit the content. Oh, there was some Simple and Night conversation. Simple said, I'm doing it full time right now. It should be out this year. I'm releasing a free prologue side story in a couple months, and a main game should come out after that. That's so flippin' cool. I love that. And thank you so much for the alert, Captain. He's gonna go for a walk, take a shower, and eat. At you on the flippity flop. I'm pointing at my chin. Awesome. And of course, Knight, if there is anything that you do that you want to share or show off, feel free to put it in chat. Feel free to hop into our Discord and post it in our show off channels, whichever one is appropriate. Hey, I think it worked. There's a link for our Discord. Thank you, DukaSoftBot. DukaBot Soft. Non-bot bot. What is it called? Mod love. Mod love. Yes. And then Max is saying, did I talk to you about my school final exam presentation? You haven't. Tell us about it. If the app supports multiple roles, you can recommend you recommend to create a single page for transactions and show hide controls depending on the role, or create a standalone page for every role. Yeah, most of my stuff would be show hide controls based off of what is needed. If it's using the same page structure, essentially, since we have everything in components, it's not like I'll be doing a lot of copy pasta. It's just if for example, and I can't get out of this because it's like way down here. Hello? Maybe if I tab. Oh, I got it. Cool. Okay. Maybe if you don't have a specific role, you aren't allowed to modify or delete transactions. So I would hide this column completely. That was interesting. Oh, I nice. I was gonna say, did I actually implement the ability to resize columns? No, I have the CSS for being able to resize columns. Anyway, I would just hide this column behind a authorized view. The topic was darknet, and I got an A. Awesome. Yeah, Max, you are a really intelligent individual. At least you've indicated that you are, and I believe you for sure because you've proven it. Yeah, the short answer is I would just show and hide controls. Okay, let's see. Why are you going in one column? We said that it's because, and I'm going to test it real quick, but it's because we have place item center. No, it's still going to squish itself as narrow as it can. It's weird. The next 2 months are going to be hard. Going to write a lot of exams. Yeah, so I hated finals. Card body would be the next place that I go because that's the thing that has the edit form. That doesn't have very much in the way of styles that would be preventing it from going wider than it is. Card text just has some padding, but nothing that tells it that it can't grow wider. This will be error messages if there are error messages. And then this thing here, section, data entry section, is just display block. I was expecting this to be the issue. Oh, it's because it doesn't have any CSS. There's nothing that's telling this thing, I want you to be display flex or whatever. So I don't have any rules applied to data entry section because all of my rules for data entry section, yeah, I really need to disable these buttons when the dialog is open. The rules for data entry section that are on the data entry pages, data entry section, are in the actual pages isolated CSS. Display, pretty important. All right, Max, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your time playing CSGO. Thanks for stopping in, saying hi. Really nice to see you. Okay, so then that begs the question, do I want the CSS that I am manually applying to my data entry wrapper or to the data entry section itself? Wait, if this is, yeah, so this is specific to the page. Okay, do I want the CSS that I'm essentially applying to the data entry section through the page to be applied to every data entry section, which means that that isolated CSS should go with the data entry section component and not the page? Because otherwise, we aren't going to get any standard CSS everywhere for free. I also wonder if I, in card text, made you overflow y auto, and then we gave our modal content overflow y hidden. I was expecting it to squish the card. Let's see. 1004.22. Oh, wrong number. Yeah, okay. So it looks like the modal content is still flowing outside of the height of the modal wrapper. And I have the modal wrapper position fixed with inset 0, which means it can be no bigger than the bounds of the content window. So I am interested in determining. Oh, it's because this is the thing that needs overflow hidden. Nope. Yeah, so this thing is saying that it's 967 pixels tall, which is the height of the content window. So that's working the way that we want it to. But this thing is saying that it's 1004 0.22 pixels, which is taller than the window, taller than the content window. Why is that? Can I do maybe grid template rows, min, max, auto, 1FR? I think I did that wrong. It's just min max. So what that should have done is said be an auto height, but be no bigger than 100 VH. Or my first row. And you can see that it definitely is, well, you probably can't see because you can't see the bottom. It's definitely contained within the bounds of the content area. So it should not be flowing outside of it. So why is this thing still allowed to grow taller? What if we gave this thing a max height of something like 100 VH minus, and then we'll do 2 rems on top and bottom. So there we go. We have 100 VH minus 4 rems, but card text, oh, overflow Y hidden. There we go. Okay, that should have given me, oh, dang it, man, this is so hard to to size everything correctly. This makes it so that the body can't, the body just stays within the bounds between the header and the footer, and it only uses the remaining space there. Then this should have been overflow auto, which means that we should have gotten a scroll bar now that the body is not allowing it to grow taller than a certain height, but it's still extending outside of the body somehow. What if we did height 100% of the container? Yeah. Oh, that's even more weird because the bottom of the scroll bar is getting hidden, getting covered by the footer, the card footer. So does that mean that body is stretching? No. I was going to say it looked like body was stretching down beyond footer. Oh, dang it. We have a padding on card text of 1 rem. Why does it look like it's 1 rem top and bottom? Oh, because it is. 1 rem top and bottom. Because it's the first of type and last of type. So we would also need this to subtract 2 rems in order for it to fit correctly. Do we want to have to do it that way though? I'm sure there is a better way to do this. I bet you if instead we're going to keep the max height. So let's keep that. That's number 1. But the question is, am I doing this only for the modal? And then we'll have you output there. So I use SAS because I like to write CSS in a way that kind of matches the structure a little better, a little bit. So our edit transaction modal has a, excuse me, do, 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 do. I don't have a container in it. It's just the modal. So I won't be able to target any of the children elements unless this thing is in another container. It is. It is. Yeah, it is definitely an option, but for now I just want to make sure that even if the screen does get squished down, that we'll get a scroll bar vertically if we need it. And then we can do the breakpointing and stuff for narrower screens. Blah, blah, blah. But you are right. We need to consider when the screen is more narrow with our minimum width. I don't think we actually need to put a class name on it. I'm just going to put it in a div. Okay, so it's in a div, which means that we are now going to be able to use deep. And just to be sure that we can use deep, we're going to target the modal container, which is called modal wrapper, and set its background color to the best color ever. Didn't do it. Did you at least compile? It did. Interesting. Still nothing though. Oh, right, right. I know what it is. Whenever you add a SAS file or isolated CSS file, you actually do need to stop and restart so that it'll reload the CSS correctly from the isolated CSS import, which is for us this project right here. Otherwise, this doesn't have the reference to the isolated CSS for that component. There we go. Okay, so yes, we can write it this way. All we had to do is just make a div around it. Great. We got div soup now. Pretty. I'm leaving it. All right. Then we said the thing that would keep us alive. Right. I was going to try a different approach. So the approach that I would like is for my modal wrapper. I'm still keeping this one, grid template rows, min max, auto. No, this was max height of 100 VH. That's the wrong one. Modal content was the one that we put a max height of 100 VH. And I am going to go ahead and do it with specifying modal wrapper because I like using specificity when I do this. Okay, so modal content will be no taller than 100 VH minus 2 rems. Why did it move down though when I have place item center? Oh, it didn't. Okay. So here's where I think I want to change. Instead of using overflow y hidden, which we saw worked, we can see that right here. I think I would prefer to use display flex. Cool. So you can see the card is now doing what it's supposed to, even though the content is overflowing outside of the card, which is fine because we're now going to work on the card. Which is going to have a height, a max height, 100. Does max height have to be a static value? Actually, that's not affecting anything, so we don't need it at all. Doesn't matter. The card is already fitting inside of the parent container, no matter what. Good. Good. That way, the reason that I wanted to do that is because I would like for modal wrapper have overflow y auto, which for, yeah, it's going to do that for now, which is fine. And then modal content will have a min height of 80 characters. And that way we can squish the screen, but it'll be no shorter than, wait, is that really 80 characters? That seems like a lot more than 80 characters. Wow. Okay, this is a good height right here. And so what this will do for us is if the card, that's still a little too short. We'll go with 30. If the card ends up stopping us from making the screen smaller than, or shorter, you know what I'm trying to say, we'll be able to scroll. Dang it. So if we're up here, then we'll be able to scroll the whole card, and then we'll have another scroll bar. That's still looking like it's going to be too short because I want to leave room for the footer. So yeah, we'll come up with a good number so that we can still be able to access our input fields as well as the footer buttons, which will be up there sooner rather than later. Okay, so the next thing was to get the card text content to fit inside of the body. And the easiest way that I can think of to do that is to target card body and do position flex, display flex. We don't need padding 0 because the card body already has 0 padding. And it doesn't matter flex direction because we only have one card text per edit form, per edit transaction modal. And then the height is not going to be an issue because card is grid, which will be auto 1FR auto. So the thing that matters with card body is that card text has a height of 100% minus padding. And an overflow, card text must have an overflow y auto so we can scroll the card text. Come on. That wasn't enough. I thought that was going to be enough. Yeah, it's still allowed to go outside of card. Man. So we'll see if putting card at a max height of 100% of the container still does anything for us. I don't think it will. Long phone calls are long. You're telling me. I have a PR that's waiting. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and look at this PR real quick while I think about almost as long as an N64 phone call. They could be even longer if they were unsigned. Come on. But yeah, if anyone has any thoughts on how I can get the body to stay within the bounds of the card, the area that is here. Wrong one. This one. Dude, never mind about doing the PR review. Oh, wait. It's waiting for input. There we go. Okay. So like you can see here, the card is split up into 3 rows. The first row is auto, the second row is 1FR, and the third row is auto. And the thing that I'm trying to do is get the card body to fit inside of this card in row 2 and not stretch outside of row 2. Have you considered chopping it up into smaller pieces? I think it's a easier way to get it to fit in the car that way. Easier to get it to fit in the car that way. I agree with you. I just don't think it's helpful for this situation. I don't have anything that's sharp enough to cut this. What do you think this is? A school for ants? Okay, so here's my current CSS stuff that I'm overwriting the existing CSS. The dialogue needs to be at least twice the size. Um, there we go. Still waiting on. Yeah, I want to check this out. Dang it. Now I need to stash my changes again so I can check out this branch. Stash. One day I'm going to accidentally push discard. Like I'm working on a project restructure and I haven't committed until I can get it to build. And I'm starting to like not care anymore. I'm just going to commit. At least locally, and then I can squash commit. You know what? I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do that now. Local commit and then squash commit when I'm ready to push to the server. Thank you so much for the follow to develop stuff. Yes, and we are here to develop stuff together. So if you have any thoughts or just stuff that you feel like talking about, then definitely feel free to bring it up. I popped all changes. I am going to do local commit. Right, and I have a whole bunch of CSS stuff that I need to work on. I essentially took our reusable components and moved them into their own project outside of our application specific components because we are anticipating having other people be able to add. We're pulling in other people's products into our application and their UI and stuff. So if I give them a Blazor component library that they can use to construct their UI, even better, right? And they won't have to worry about using the right CSS classes and stuff. They'll just get them for free from the components. Hashtag am I right? Re Pull out standard components into own library referenced the UI. Commit local. We are committed. I am going over to remote branch. Fix full screen issue. And I do a build. I think I'm gonna do a build. That's what I said. And then I'll test it. Check out Findle's no docs. Check out what it does. So let's say that I'm a streamer. Just imagine with me. I know it's not quite true. And I was going to make an update in my code on stream and I went into my secrets and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be going into my secrets. What? Oh, and this file is actually good. I just had comments. Then I don't have to worry so much because my values are being masked out. And so if I click this button, then they get unmasked, which of course I'm not worried about it, which is why I did it. But you can see that now I can see the values of my secrets. Whereas before, we wouldn't have seen it when we just open it and don't click that button. But anyway, it's a cool little thing. Works in JSON, XML, you know. And if for some reason it can't parse the file, then it'll just mask the whole thing. Good fallback. Not YAML. I looked at YAML. It looks easy, but it's dumb. And obviously, it is our very own Thindle, which we are a part of his community too, as well, also, along with. It's going to support YAML once he gets the JSON parser to be faster for huge JSON files. There's another opportunity to follow Thindle if you aren't already following him. My bot, my non-bot bot is the best. It's built, run, and do the test. Oop. I have an important email notification on my phone. Heather is being really funny. Okay, application launched. Testises are loaded. Video. Dead pixels. Run. Go. Yes! Haha. I wonder if there's a way to tell the thing when you hover over the top. That would be really smart. I'm going to write that down as an improvement. The application. Yeah, and there's still plenty of ways to close the app even if it's full screen like this. It would be nice. There would be two things that would be good if you can push the escape key to cancel early, and if you can hover over the top to get the title bar. Good idea. Good idea. Now, question is, was he sneaking in any other fixes? A sneaky sneaky? No. Those are the only changes. And they work beautifully. Man, I love that. That's so good. Thindle was saying, I have a report of it taking a bit of time when someone opened 3 megabyte JSON file. How unexpected. They should try open a 3 gigabyte file before complaining. I need to write those down, which was for full screen. Note that you can push Windows key to get taskbar and close app from there. We could add a listener for escape key to cancel. Prompt for are you sure you want to cancel? We could add a mouse. What are they called? Mouse pointer event. When hovering over the top, to show the close. We could just change the background color to transparent and the foreground color and the button backgrounds, except when you mouse over the top. So this type of test that we're doing with this thing turns your entire screen one color so that you can check for, are there any pixels that are dead or miscolored or whatever. And so your title bar, the minimize, maximize, and close buttons, otherwise known as the caption buttons, they go away. And caption controls, control captions. I forget which order. So there's really no way for the user to exit out if they start the test. So it's like 5 seconds per screen, and then it does a pop-up question. But anyway, if you mouse over the top right corner or top left if you're in right to left, where you're expecting the close, minimize, and maximize buttons to be, then we could just show them when your mouse is in that area. That way you can still see the colored pixels when the mouse isn't there to test them. And then when the mouse is there, then you have the control captions. Good idea. And it would only be the close button that we would put up there. The close button. Right. Good. Good idea, everyone. I appreciate your input on that. You are all geniuses. Okay, so did anyone think about this though? How exactly do we get the functionality that I want, which is the body will be no taller than the second row of the grid, where the grid is currently set to be auto 1FR auto, and it has a max height. What if I set that max height to something specific, just to see if that's what the issue is? So let's try 80 characters was pretty tall. Okay, so everything is still flowing outside of it, which was not expected. Okay, so 100% is no different. And actually, nothing is the same as well. So having a max height on that doesn't matter. Overflow y hidden will give us this behavior, which we don't want. Instead, the behavior that we want. Yeah, okay. So I think we're still going to have to use overflow y hidden on body. And then do height 100 minus 2 rems for the padding on top and bottom of card text. Var calc. That's what I said. Excuse me, why do you have an overflow X showing? Why does it have an overflow X? It's really weird. I was not expecting that. But anyway, I think that we've got it styled. The only other thing that I would like to do is get rid of the submit button from the edit transaction window, since we'll be using the cards submit and cancel. So let's look for that button, which hopefully has a title. Data entry form plus. Best guess is the vertical scroll is pushing something. Yeah. And so one trick that I've learned about that was something about using scroll bar gutter, but I don't like how it looks. But we actually had to use that for one of our dialog windows, because when you come to it, the text is clipped to the left when you are in the middle of getting a scroll bar or removing a scroll bar, which I can't show because it's too tall. But the text will shift left the amount of the scroll bar for one frame. And if you aren't re-rendering immediately after that, the text will stay offset by the size of the scroll bar. So if you use something like gutter, I don't remember. It's some kind of gutter thing. Probably a WebKit thing, but whatever. Anyway, it's some gutter where it'll just maintain whatever the browser that you're using says is the width of the scroll bar. It'll maintain that distance. And so your content will be squished by that amount, either on only one side or on both sides. Okay, but anyway, that is working the way that we are expecting. Aside from now having a horizontal scroll bar. Oh, because I made it shorter. Ha ha ha, just kidding. Oh man, just let me put the window back up here, eh? And it should get no shorter than that. That way we can still scroll through the main edit content area, scroll through the modal when it's at its shortest, and then as it gets taller, that works fine. Okay. I am going to take a really, really quick break. The end. I'll just take a really quick break. I'll be right back. Yeah, drink of water. I will when I get back. I made it. Hop out of the hole. Okay, so that part of it is good. Now the next thing that we want is for this thing to rearrange itself as we get more space on the screen. The more that I'm looking at it, or I just thought about it a little bit, we are currently in responsive mode in mobile view. Good for us. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Okay, so we have mobile view set up. Now we need some breakpoints for how to arrange it when we have more horizontal space. And so we can do that using at media. And actually, I'll just put it down here. Did I create CSS variables or SAS variables, not CSS variables, for my breakpoints? I don't think so. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I'm not seeing them. Okay, so we're going to create a sizing partial where we're going to have some CSS for SAS variables defined. Oh, drink of water. SAS variables defined for our screen breakpoints. We're going to have to come up with some decent screen breakpoints, but I'm just going to cheat. What do you want from me? I can't think for myself. Not when I've done it before. Boop. Magic. Okay. So what this does for us is we just have some built-in breakpoints now that we can use and modify as we see fit. And that way we can also do calculations off of it too. Because media queries are treated differently. They're essentially created at compile time or something. I don't really remember what the whole deal is, but we can't use stuff like calc here. So let's say that we wanted to do screen size minus 2 rems, for example. We wouldn't be able to do that using CSS variables. We could do it using full pixels. Oh, screen. So this would work, but we're going to be using this Sass variable, which you access by doing something like this. Right, we actually need to import the Sass sizing. There we go. Okay, so maybe we don't need that to access it. But we don't need -2 rems. We don't need anything special. We're just doing it like this. Okay, so if we are on screen, which means not print, and max width is, and then here we're actually going to do min width and above rules. And our min width is going to be on, let's say, medium screens. Just to make sure that, not root, deep, that we are able to target, we're going to do the same thing that we did before, which is target modal wrapper. Set the background color to, you guessed it, teal. Okay, so when we make this smaller than medium width, the background color should go back to semi-transparent black. Perfect. And then let's also make a rule. What is your strategy to upgrade a C#.NET Framework 4.8 app using Bootstrap 3 for design to latest .NET Core with latest Bootstrap version? It's a bit of a process, but it depends on how the original existing application is structured currently. But my number one thing is always make sure that all of the application logic is in its own project, separate from the UI part of it. Patience, I feel cystic is soft. So I would make sure to structure the project correctly first by extracting functionality and putting it in separate classes in the existing project. So an in-place kind of restructure. Then that should mean that the way that you pulled out all of the main logic in one place and all of the UI in another place, they're pretty much copy and paste from that point. You would just do some changes to methods and improve on things when you're going to .NET Core. As far as Bootstrap is concerned, I don't know what my strategy would be for that. Leave everything as is, and then if things seem like they don't work, then find the replacement classes. But if you know anything about me, I don't really like using CSS libraries. Although I should. I really should. And we got a subscription. Thank you so much, Crypto Ghost, for the subscription with Prime, even. Oh my goodness, that is so cool of you. Um, I really, really, really appreciate that. Wow. It needs to make a bigger noise for subscriptions. But yeah, so it's essentially a two-part modernization for me. It's in place, making sure that the project structure is good, then the conversion to .NET Core. And by or solution structure, I should say. And by that, I mean, you know, just making sure that logic is in one place, UI is in another place. If there are no interfaces in place, those would probably be the first things that I got created. Oh, that's awesome. I really appreciate that then, Crypto. Thank you. And thank you for lurking and hanging out and doing what you just do, doing what you do. Um, yeah. So if there aren't interfaces for your core logic that your front end uses to do the stuff, then definitely create interfaces as part of the structuring your project, structuring your solution correctly. That way, if there are things that aren't fully implemented, you still have the interface there so your UI isn't broken. It just has placeholders for that logic. All right, let's make this orange. And this is going to be largo. Okay, so that should mean although I don't think there's really going to be a difference as far as this modal is concerned for large screens and medium screens. I think medium really is going to be the medium might still be a little too small. We'll find out, but medium should be enough to have the two columns. But it's going to be 4 columns though. Hmm. Yeah, I'm still thinking of moving these styles into the actual edit component itself. I think I'm going to do that. But at least we found out that our SAS variables are working for our screen breakpoints. And that way, if we ever need to change our screen breakpoints, we can just change them in here. Crypto is saying, may I ask a question when you get the where do you get the motivation from to work on these projects? I'm a hobby programmer. Most of the time I start a project. After a while, I lose motivation. I really appreciate your dedication. I just absolutely love the process of working on code, and I honestly don't know what drives that. I know that when I start a thing, I have trouble stopping in the middle of it. So it's a compulsion that if there's anything that I start doing, I have to get to a finishing point with that thing, um, regardless of how stressful or annoying or frustrating it is. So I don't always have fun when I'm in that kind of I'm just compelled to do this thing. But as far as wanting to even start a project, it's just so much fun for me. And joy is the thing that motivates me, I guess. The joy of being able to have an idea, mash my hands on a keyboard, and see that idea show up on screen. And Master Rat, oh my gosh, thank you so much for your resub. I really appreciate it, especially with the Prime subs. Especially with the Prime subs. yeah, that's where my motivation most likely comes from, just the joy of doing a thing. I would say it's the challenge, but I don't think that that's what I focus on when I do it. It's more so I get stuck on something, I work through it, and then I get this yes kind of feeling, which to me is called joy. And yeah, it's like probably the same reason that people play Souls like games. I lose interest because I'm missing the day X where I can say I earn money now or any other benefit after working on it. Yeah. And I mean, it is kind of odd because I get to do this all day long for my current job and earn a salary. And it is Blazor development as well, but it's for someone else. And I'm working on the things that they want me to work on. So this 2 hour break is like a release from that. It's like I get to work on what I feel like working on. And that right now is CSS and UI. But I don't feel like working on CSS and UI. But I know that this part needs to get done. So this is one of those parts that I don't enjoy. But in the end, it's part of the whole product, and the whole product project is what I enjoy. And I also get to learn while I do this, which is a major, major plus for me. Doobie 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 doo. This thing is what I'm looking for. Excuse me, do you have a SAS file? You do. This thing has a SAS file. Oh. Oh. I'm expecting the display grid to be in this file, but it's waiting for it to come from its parent. That's pretty smart. Who came up with that? Um, the reason that that's good is because we can keep this here and just say deep. Um, and then this will be essentially all of them. So the different, I'm pretty sure that I have just one class that each of them uses, which is data entry wrapper. So we just change data entry wrapper from not having any display anything to display grid. That didn't seem to work. We're way down here. We're here. Data entry, because it's not wrapper. It's not wrapper, it's section. Excuse me, can I see that SAS again, please? Data entry wrapper, payment entry form. So, excuse me, payment entry form. Ah. Oh, has a class of data entry form. So we can use data entry form, is what I meant, not data entry wrapper. Do the thing. Oh, it did it. Okay. Okay, so we're good. It works. Extra small, maybe small. Here's medium. Great. Great. Spamtastic. And I said we need to get rid of this button. I forgot. It's because I didn't give the buttons a class. Because they all are in their own. And I can't do it for all buttons. Oh, but I can do it for div ID save button, which all of them do have. There's payment entry, transfer entry that has a save button, and what's the other kind of transaction that we can do? Deposit. How do you get money into it? There we go. So yeah, we can do save button ID. Do, oh my goodness. Where are we? This one. Hash this, hash that, display none, go away. I think we did it. So the only thing that's missing is our padding and alignment, it looks like, which comes from page. Hello, Swameware. It's been a minute since I've seen you. I hope you're doing well. Look, an even newer nickname, Double One, where you can double your fun, double your lions, double your. Anyway, it's Swameware, everyone. Swameware has been a .NET developer longer than I've been alive, I'm guessing. I don't know how long you've been doing .NET development, to be honest. But he's been previously, he had been streaming AutoCAD extensions, and then he was picking up some Blender type stuff and just exploring development in general. He picked up, he was doing a lot of .NET Framework stuff and then went into .NET Core with Entity Framework instead of using SQL Client and just a whole bunch of stuff. And he just kept going with it, and it was awesome. But I haven't seen you stream for a little bit. I did see you go live once, but completely understandable. But if you are streaming again anytime soon, just let us know when, and we'll make sure to keep shouting you out. Yeah. I often lurk on many people's streams without really saying much because I'm usually in the middle of doing work related things. Yeah, I wonder if it's just that it doesn't have enough horizontal space. Right, I still have a media query for larger screens. Yeah, this is gonna work really well. Um, let's see if we can get that padding back. I keep looking for the SAS file for this. And I keep landing on just the razor. Data entry section. Here it is. Grid template columns. Interesting. So I'm defining grid template columns here. And if I look at this for each of the data entry components, I am also specifying grid template columns. No, I'm not. I'm specifying a base grid template columns. Well, I don't want to override the grid template columns if they get defined. We'll see what it does. But I'm suspecting that if I do this, Oh, it works just fine. Oh, thank goodness. Cool. So then the enter payment details would be the only other thing that I want to get rid of that we don't want to see in this edit form. So let's do that really quick. That should be pretty easy. It should be here in card text as well. And that should have its own class of title. Where's that coming from? Can't see. And then we'll give it some padding because it looks like it has no padding on the right. Oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. It's just called dot title. Okay. Let's hope that's the only thing that has a title. So data entry section title. So we'll need data entry section title display. Not here. Friend here. Friend. There we go. Whoops. Whatever. We now have a nested, more specific CSS rule. It works though. It works. So that's awesome. Like I said, the only other thing that we might want is padding. I'm going to try applying it up here. And I'm just going to go ahead and specify both again, even though card text has a padding already specified. But since I'm doing left and right, I may as well just do it from scratch. So actually, would just one rem all around look good? The answer is no. You won't be able to do that. And why not? Specificity. Wait. Oh, it's doing that thing. So the section is overflowing horizontally, which means that the card is not stretching wide enough. Do you have like a max width somewhere? Senior card. Modal content, no max width. Card body, no max width. Yeah, I don't see any max width. It's got to be this overflow X hidden. It's just so weird that we're getting scroll bar instead of the card stretching wide enough. Is it the table? You know what? It could be the table. Tables often mess with the width. But because I'm seeing these stretch as well, I don't think it's the table. I would expect the container to be wide enough. Do any of you guys have a computed max width? Auto. 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 Oh, none is what I said. No max width on card. No max width on modal content. And then modal wrapper is taking up the entire content viewport. I keep calling it content window. It's just viewport. Yeah, okay, so they're all set to none, not auto. I'm sorry, who? I want one. I do not believe the person you are looking for is here. Interesting. The data entry wrapper is the right width to fit inside of card text, but the data entry section is what? Gosh. So like if I put and I don't want to do this. Yeah, overflow X is auto by default. Okay, let's try putting overflow X hidden on body, but that still wouldn't tell me why body and card and everything don't automatically expand to fit the content. UI, am I right? Let's just do overflow hidden then, which doesn't change a thing. Other than now overflow X is also hidden. And it's because the child content is not spilling outside, because card text is only taking up that entire amount of width, and section is only taking up the available area inside of card text minus padding. And I'm sure that I don't have the oh, what if? What if my grid, which takes up the entire space, which is doing place item center. Yeah, once again, that is not the thing that is keeping it from growing horizontally. So it's not that. And then I can't turn flex off. How about flex grow? Not true. 1. Yeah, so that's not it. Grid template columns min max auto 1FR. It's not that either. Yeah, it's the card itself that isn't flexing. Let's go flex. Does line item type have a min width? Here's how we can figure out if it's the table or not. Because I mean, I really do. It's the form. There it is. The form has a calculated width. Which still doesn't explain why it's flowing outside of the content, because the content should grow around it. But the way that we can tell if it's the table or if the table is having any effect, we will tell the table to go away. There we go. So it's each of, it's not even that either. Because I was going to say it's each of these rows, but they're not rows. They are individual component or individual elements that have a grid position. But we can definitely see that the grid here is not stretching the parent container. Wait, why do we have two forms? We have two forms because one of the forms is for the line items. Aha. That doesn't change anything. Max width. Metriokartihi. Wait, that's even more weird. Oh, no, it isn't. I was going to say that's even more weird now that it wasn't overflowing, but it is. It is. Undemonite. Yeah. And it's, yeah, both of those are weird. Telling it to not use a width. Like, what I would probably need to do. Barbarosso is here. What I probably need to do is set my card to have a width of this plus 2 rems. Oops. Plus 2 rems goes here. And why does that look like it's even shorter than narrower? I mean, what in the world? Oh my goodness. Bob Ross, you're a human. You have things to do. Well, I don't know if you're fully human, but you present as human, at least to my eyes. So you're allowed to be as late or on time as you want. Hi, I'm always late. I'm Dukasoft. But anyway, we're going to have to figure this out on Friday, but we may or may not do this on Friday. But this is a really interesting thing where we're getting an overflow of the form. Even though everything above it tells it to, or everything above it should stretch based off of its child content. And I'm suspecting that it's because of the form within the form, but it's not. Dang it, I just proved that it's not that. Oh my goodness. I honestly don't know what's causing it. Yeah, this makes it so that the table fits and doesn't go. Wait. Yeah, okay. And we're still missing if I did that, we're still missing at the scroll bar for the table. Gosh. Yeah, I definitely did that. So if we set a minimum width for the card, it would work. Which would be the same width that the why didn't that work? Okay, now the card isn't even changing width. Wait, yes it is. This is 40 characters plus 6 rem. Which this is 40 characters plus 4 rem, and then I added 1 for the padding on both sides. So a total of 2. Yeah, but the thing is when I removed this, so that would be the equivalent of saying, what's the name of this form? Data entry form. Love that CS. Excuse me. I moved. Dude, dude. Okay, so this would be the same thing where I get rid of that width. 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 On the data entry form itself. Because like here you can definitely see that the data entry section is fitting to its parent container as opposed to its parent container fitting to it. And then the form is the thing that's flowing outside of its parent container when its parent container should be stretching to fit it. But we did get rid of... No, we didn't get rid of width. Anyway, we just tried setting width to auto. Yeah, width auto will fix it. Width auto will fix it. So we just need to be able to get this width auto to apply. Okay, and we'll do that on Friday first thing and get it done, and then we'll be essentially, no, we won't. We'll need to get the buttons to work, get the confirm edit or whatever we're going to call that button to work. Then we'll be done with that feature. And then that would make this data entry page. Dang it, there's still 2 or 3 more things to do. The add buttons for payees, add button for line item type, add button for account, which we could also put up here, create a new account. Damn. And then also deposit reasons, transfer reasons, kind of stuff. Dang it. We're really close though. We'll be done with the edit transaction functionality. Edit and delete. But we're going to do that on Friday. I'll try to be here on Friday. But Friday is also our community days where we invite people to hop. I'm going to go to this screen, by the way, where we invite people to hop into our Discord. Ooh, the door is bigger now. Oh, this door needs to be... No, wrong image. That was my background. Image, come back. Jiminy Christmas. I've forgotten how to anything ever. Sumimasen. You go all the way to the back. You. You're the thing I was looking for. You go away. And instead we get intro image that goes over here. Dang, the sizing is still going to be different for this too. Whatever, we can cut me off on that side. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're fine. We can do all the things. So anyway, Friday we will have Community Day, which is a day where I invite any of our community members to hop into a voice channel in our Discord, and we can have verbal discussions about technology topics and stuff. So yeah, do you like my new design for my study? This is an AI generated image. This video will be posted to YouTube no sooner than 24 hours after I end the stream, which should be very, very soon. But before I do, I'm gonna look over. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to work. It's 6 minutes past, and I just want to get back to work. So I will see you all the next time that you're around. We'll get this little UI thingy finished and call the and the edit button to work and just get it done. Just ask ChatGPT, obviously. So that's gonna be it. Ciao for now. Turning the music up. Sign up now before they outlaw it. Turning my microphone off and waving.